In this video, I'm doing a position analysis from the 2023 UBC final between Sander Lylloff and Masayuki Mochizuki. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy this video. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Please let me know what you think in the comments below and what you'd like to see in future videos so I can work on that. Thank you to Marc Olsen and the Backgammon Galaxy team for allowing me to use this position in the video. My book, Backgammon Backgame Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. And if you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. My email address is in the description. So this is the position from the 2023 Ultimate Backgammon Championship UBC Finals. They were playing on the beautiful Backgammon Galaxy Void board with the new Casio inlay. The surfaces can be changed, so you can change them to whatever colors you like. And they were playing with the bright orange and blue or teal checkers. So this is the position. It's the first game of a 7-point match, 0-0 to 7. So 7 away, 7 away. Sander is playing the orange checkers at the bottom, and Mochy is playing the blue checkers at the top. And Mochy does own a 2 cube. So that's important in a 7-point match. Mochy is on the bar and on roll with a cube action. So he's deciding whether to double or not double, and Sander has to decide whether it's a take or not. So take a moment, pause the video if you like, think about it, decide what you would do if you were blue. Would you double, and would you not double? And if you were orange and you were doubled, would you take or would you not take? In the meanwhile, there's a link in the description to the exact moment of when this occurred in the match, so you can see what happened. Okay, so in this position, as I said, Mochy has a blue checker on the bar, and he may come in, but on the other side, Orange has a checker trapped. Orange is going to need a 2 followed by a 5 or a 6 or an immediate 6-2 or 5-2 to get this out. And then he still may have some trouble bringing things home against his contact. At the same time, he may roll a 3 to force him to break the 4-point. And crunch his board even further. So it turns out at this score, it's a small redouble, but a comfortable take. So why? What are the things that can happen? Whenever you're considering a doubling decision, you need to think about market losers. And every time you have an opportunity to roll with cube access, you have a doubling decision. So it's important to always think about that. And a market loser is a sequence of 2 rolls, first by you, then by your opponent, where before the roll, it was a take, and after the roll, it becomes a pass. Therefore, the equity was less than 1.0, and afterwards, the equity is greater than or equal to 1.0. So basically, what are the things that can happen that can make it go from a take to a pass? As I said, if blue is able to come in, he has decent chances of containing the back checker for orange. But blue may fail to come in. Also, at the same time, orange may crunch his board. So let's take a look. These are the market losing sequences. So this is a little bit more of a complicated dice distribution graph than we're used to seeing in the videos. So at the top are all of blue's next 36 rolls, going from double 1 all the way to double 6, all the way across the top. So basically when blue rolls a double 1, it looks like this. A 2-1, it looks like this, and so forth. And orange's following rolls are listed along the left side. So from double 1 all the way to double 6. For example, the first cell in the upper left it corresponds to the situation where blue rolls a double 1 and dances, and then orange rolls a double 1 and fails to escape or move up the back checker. Now, red means it's not a market losing sequence. That means after the sequence of 2 rolls, Blue's equity is less than 1.0. It doesn't matter how low it is, it's always going to be red. If the equity for blue after the two-roll sequence is 1.0 or higher, the color of the cell becomes white to green. The darker the green, the higher the equity. So that means you lose your market by a lot when it's dark green. And when it's white to faint green, you're just barely losing your market. So this is what happens. You see all the times when blue rolls a 5 or a 6, those are in these columns. So you see those are mostly green. That means you're going to lose your market most of the time if you roll a 5 or a 6, except when orange rolls a 2. So these are the instances where orange rolls a 2, this horizontal row. And you see how this is mostly red because you don't lose your market because orange is able to step up to the edge of the prime. Now, when orange rolls a 6-3, 5-3, or 4-3, which is these three horizontal rows, as well as this one, which is the 4-3, and this one, which is 5-3, and this one is 6-3, you lose your market by a lot, almost regardless of what blue rolls, and that's because the orange is crunching the board. So there are many market losing sequences. However, it's a volatile position, and if blue's able to get a 2 quickly, he's in decent shape. So let's take a look. Let's say blue dances and then orange is on roll. And this is the case when blue doesn't double. So we're looking at markets losing sequences. Let's say blue does not double, blue dances, and then orange rolls a 6-3. It would be the same thing for 5-3 or 4-3. It would result like this. It would be a forced play from 4-1, resulting in this position. And now blue is borderline too good to redouble, and it becomes a pass. So this is a market losing sequence when blue dances and orange is forced to crunch his board. So how often does that happen? Well, there are 16 numbers that dance, so that's 16 out of 36, and there were 6 numbers that crunched the board. 6-3, 5-3, or 4-3, leaving a blot. Also 3-1 also leaves a blot, but let's just count the 6. So it's 6 times 16, which is 96. 96 times out of 1296, so that's about 8% of the time or so. That's a decent number. Now let's say blue rolls a 5-3. Blue does not double and comes in with a 5-3. So it's played like this, resulting in this position. And now orange rolls a 4-3. Same thing with 5-3 or 6-3. It's forced to play like this, resulting in this position. And again, now it's a redouble and pass. So if blue comes in, even if blue comes in those other 20 times and orange rolls a 5-3, 6-3, or 4-3, and crunches the board, it's a market losing sequence. So what this means is when you're thinking about market losing sequences, it's not only your next roll, it's your opponent's next roll. Oftentimes, these things are seen in prime versus prime situations. This is not really a traditional prime versus prime position, although it's somewhat of a prime versus prime position because orange is stuck behind a broken 5 prime and blue was on the bar against 4 prime here. So it's not like blue is stuck between it and needs to leap the prime, although a 5 or a 6 would leap the prime from the bar. Now, let's look at this position at different scores. It's always important to consider the other scores because score is always important in the match. So in the initial position, the original position, it was 0-0 to 7. 7 away, and it was a redouble to 4. Let's look at what happens when you change the score. This is a money game situation, and it's almost exactly the same. When you're redoubling to 4 in a 7-point match, it's almost the same as money, and it's still a small redouble and a comfortable take. Now, let's look at the other tie scores. So we're going to be 1-1. First, we're going to look at 1-1. So 6 away, 6 away, instead of 7 away, 7 away. This one is a stronger double and the equity is higher. Why is that? Well, whenever you think about these doubling decisions, you want to think about what score you will get to if you redouble and win. So if blue redoubles and wins, it's unlikely to win a gammon. So he'll just get 4 points and get to 5, which is 2 away. That is a valuable score. But at the same time, if orange takes and wins, he'll get to that same valuable score. So getting to a valuable score is important. That's why it's a stronger double at 6 away as compared to 7 away. Now let's increase the score by 1 point each again to 5 away. And now it's even stronger. It's almost a pass. Why is that? Because whoever wins the game will get to 1 away Crawford, and that's a very valuable score. When you get to the Crawford game as the leader, you have a cushion because your opponent cannot redouble you, or double you, excuse me, cannot double you in that game. And that is big. Now, let's look at 3-3, 4 away. Now it becomes a huge pass. Why? Because winning 4 points gets to exactly 0 away. So you win the match with perfect efficiency without getting any extra points. This is called overage. If you were to get an extra point, like to get to 8 or 9, that extra point is wasted. You wouldn't have needed it. So it's not as valuable. And you'll see that when we increase the score to 4-4, this is 3 away. Now it's still a strong redouble, but it becomes a take because that 4 points, you don't get full value of the 4th point. You only get 3 out of 4 value because you only need 3 points to win. So there is overage. So anytime there's overage, things change. You want to think about what will happen whenever you're making doubling decisions in a match. What will happen if you take and win? So what score will you get to? What will happen if you take and lose? What score will your opponent get to? Okay, and vice versa. If you don't double and win a single game or a single game on 2, see what happens. You want to think about all of these things. Ideally, you want to get to valuable scores. The valuable scores are, of course, winning the match perfectly at 0 away. Of course, that's the most valuable score, but other valuable scores, including 1 away Crawford, you have that cushion. Additionally, when you're at 2 away or 4 away or even away scores in general, and specifically, more importantly, even away scores that are the value of the cube, such as 2 away, 4 away, and 8 away, those are very valuable scores to be at. So you want to try to get to those scores, and you see if doubling can get to those scores, that's more of an incentive for doubling. If taking can get you to one of those scores, that's more of an incentive to take. And if it cannot, it's less of an incentive. So you think about all these things. You can learn all these double points and take points, things like that, but then you have to be able to estimate your your game-winning chances, which is also a difficult thing. Okay, so now let's look at what happens when you're leading. So now blue is leading 1-0, 6 away, 7 away. When you're leading in the score, you have to be more cautious. So this ends up being a no redouble. Now let's look at 5 away, 6 away. This one is borderline. Why? Because if you win 4 points at 5 away, you get to that important Crawford score. 1 away, 6 away Crawford. But at 0-0, you would be at 1 away, 7 away, or no, I'm sorry. At the other scores, if you're at 1 away, 7 away Crawford, it's even more valuable because being 7 away is not as valuable as being 6 away for the opponent. Now let's see what happens when you have a 3-2 lead, 4 away, 5 away. Now you can win the match with perfect efficiency on a 4 cube. However, what happens is if you redouble to 4 at 4 away, and your opponent is 5 away, your opponent will automatically redouble to 8 because your opponent will lose the match regardless. So he has an opportunity to win the match by redoubling back to 8. However, that 8 points will get him to 10. So that's 3 points of overage. He's wasting a lot. That's why it's not as strong, but it does become, it is still a take. So 4 away, 5 away is an important score to understand. Now let's look at 3 away, 4 away. You don't want to double here. because now that's giving your opponent the chance to win the match with perfect efficiency, whereas winning 4 points at 3-way gives you 1 point of overage. So now let's see what happens when you trail. If you're 0-1, 7 away, 6 away, it's a strong redouble, but it's still a take. Winning 4 points will get you to 3 away, and the opponent will be at 6 away. So that's important to understand. Now let's go one more. Now it's 6 away, 5 away. Now it's a stronger redouble because winning 4 points at 6 away will get you to that valuable 2 away score. Now let's go one more to 5 away, 4 away. Now winning 4 points at 5 away gets you to the very valuable Crawford game, and it becomes a big pass. Now we'll look at 4 away, 3 away. Again, 4 away, 3 away. You win 4 points, you win the match with perfect efficiency, and the leader gets 1 point of overage, so it's not as valuable, so it becomes a very big pass. You see that here. Now let's see what happens when you have a 2-point deficit. When you have a 2-point deficit, you need to be even more aggressive. So the more lopsided the score becomes, the more you have to think about things. It becomes a pass at 7 away, 5 away. Now let's look at 6 away, 4 away. Despite the fact that you can win the match with perfect efficiency at 4 away, when the opponent is at 6 away, you have to be careful because the opponent can get to 2 away, 4 away. That's a very valuable score to be at. And 1 away, and now it's 5 away, 3 away. Taking this cube at 3 away will give you 1 point of overage. You have no value of owning the cube, and it will get the opponent to Crawford. So that's a big pass. So these are the tips for doubling decisions. You always want to consider both your roles and your opponent's roles as part of the market losing sequences. We saw in this case, sometimes blue will come in and sometimes blue will not come in. But even the times where blue does not come in, if orange rolls a 6-3, 5-3, or 4-3 and crunches the board, that can be part of the market losing sequence. So you have to consider what will happen for you and what will happen for your opponent. Oftentimes, these are very critical in prime versus prime games. Examine the variance. We didn't look at any positional variance here, but we looked at the score variance because in a match, it's always important to understand what the score is. What is the score? In this case, it was 7 away, 7 away. So what's going to happen when you redouble? So the value of the cube is going to be on 4. Someone's going to win 4 points. In this case, there were very few gammons, so let's just assume there were no gammons. Someone's going to be ahead 4-0. 3 away, 7 away. And think about what happens when you adjust the score. And when you do that, what score will you get to? What score will your opponent get to if they win or if you win? If it's a valuable score, you have to be more careful. If you're getting to a valuable score, you want to be more aggressive, and vice versa. So think about what score each player will get to based on what will happen if there's a double versus no double, and if it's a take versus a pass. So that's very complicated, but it's very important to understand how to make correct doubling cube decisions, because those are often the biggest errors people make. So that was the position analysis from the 2023 UBC Ultimate Backgammon Championships Finals between Sander Lylloff and Mochy, Masayuki Mochizuki. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Please let me know what you think in the comments below and what you'd like to see in future videos so I can work on that. Thank you again to Marc Olsen and the Backgammon Galaxy team for allowing me to use this position in the video. Again, my book, Backgammon Backgame Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. And if you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. My email address is in the description. I look forward to seeing you in future videos. And until then, keep rolling your dice.